Great morning, holy brothers and sisters! It is the second of ELUL in the Kitzur Moharan. Today's lesson will be called Dirty Dumps. When a person does not sanctify himself and chases after base desires and accesses to amass wealth, wasting his life in order to leave an inheritance to his children, then when he does leave this money over to his children, he is like a person who has soiled himself with filth, and he takes on more filth and covers over the filth that is on him already, as explained in more detail in this lesson in Likutei Moharan. Even when a person wishes to leave the merit of his good deeds to his children, this too is not entirely correct. The perfect tzaddik and the righteous ones do not choose any of these things at all, but rather they choose only to fulfill God's will. We should not live life with eyes on the prize. Do not seek reward for our actions, but we should be focused on thanking Hashem and only wanting to do good deeds because it is His will and because we love Him. Teaching number 38. Sometimes the light of the tzaddik is so very great that it is impossible for a person of a small spiritual stature to receive this great light of the tzaddik in the tzaddik's own place, because of the overabundance of light there. Consequently, this great tzaddik is compelled to lower and to subordinate himself vis-a-vis the smaller person and to go to him in order that the light should thereby be diminished slightly and the smaller person can then receive it. This is similar to what we find in the Talmud. In the place of his greatness, there you find his humility. Megillah 31a. Sometimes we need to lower ourselves for others and get down and dirty in the dumps. The main thing that tzaddik must do to illuminate the students is to expand their minds and to take them from constricted consciousness to expanded consciousness. Sometimes he accomplishes this with a radiant face by comforting them and by showing them a warm countenance. Other times, however, they cannot receive his light in this way, and then he needs to radiate his light to them through suffering. In other words, he must chastise and humiliate them in order to nullify them so that they'll be able to receive his light. As in the dictum, when the wood in a fire does not burn, one must strike it. Zohar 3:168. Sometimes we feel rejection, but it is really tough love. When the tzaddik is compelled at times to lower and to nullify himself a little bit from his greatness so that the person of a small spiritual stature should be able to receive from him, all this is only a temporary measure, and subsequently the tzaddik can return to his level. But by lowering himself temporarily, the tzaddik thereby rectifies and elevates the smaller person completely. There are many different aspects and kinds of inadequacies, and there are many variations in the way that a great person subordinates himself to the smaller person so as to allow him to receive his light. For sometimes this act of humbling is nothing more than a slight gesture, while at other times the great person must actually go and travel to the smaller person. It all depends on the particulars of the situation. Do what we need to in given situations, and do not make excuses why we are not doing the right things. As always, thank you so much for learning together. If you enjoyed this lesson, please remember to like, comment, share, and borrow. And please God, we'll learn again tomorrow.